A few years back, I read a book called Talk Triggers, and that book helped me understand how you create positive word of mouth. I'm not talking about just positive reviews and recommending your business based on someone asking. I'm talking about people bringing up your business or your product or service without ever being prompted to do so. There's a few companies that have done this really well, and I want to outline kind of the strategies I learned throughout this book and how you can implement those as well. So in this book, the authors go through a variety of examples that are really interesting when you sit down and think about it. So one of the first ones they talk about is DoubleTree. And DoubleTree does something particularly well to create that customer experience and to actually have people talk about it. And what that thing is that warm chocolate chip on your pillow. If you ever stayed there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that creates this talk trigger, meaning a reason for people to actually bring this up in conversation because it's so unique and so different than everybody else in the marketplace. Now, there is definitely a cost to providing a chocolate chip cookie to every single person that checks in. However, the argument can be made that that cost is less than the return they get by people spreading the word or people actually speaking about this in their daily lives. Now, and everybody knows this one by now, so it might not have as much of an impact, but obviously it's something they keep as a staple of their business and a staple of their customer experience. There's another example they go through in the book, and that is of Five Guys. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically a burger chain, not quite fast food, it's fast casual, you would probably classify it as. And they're known for piling the fries into the bag. So you order a thing of fries, even if it's a small, medium, large, doesn't matter. They like dump more fries in that bag than you would possibly imagine. So when you get it, it has this feeling of like generosity or that you got more than you paid for. Now, obviously prices are ridiculous right now, and I don't know if anyone's getting more than they paid for on any type of food item, but the concept's there, and this has worked for a number of years because it makes the person feel like they got more fries than they paid for. Very simple. In that particular example, the cost of probably adding a few more fries into the bag is next to nothing because it's potatoes and they cost almost nothing. So there's a great example of something that was easy to implement and actually probably makes a difference in terms of customer retention and people talking about this in the world. Another great example I heard was when I was at a Tony Robbins seminar, and Tony brought up this interesting story about Zappos, the online shoe retailer. See, back in 2004, they were a struggling company and they weren't really making it happen. And one of the reasons they weren't is because shoes are very difficult to buy online, or at least they used to be, because you couldn't exchange them. You needed to try them on, get the feel for them, and most companies didn't have free exchange, right? So Zappos, not only did they come up with that was revolutionary in the online retail space, they also created this philosophy of unbelievable customer service. I'm talking above and beyond what anyone would possibly imagine. It actually got people talking about the brand. If you Google it, there's a ton of stories about Zappos customer service and things they do that you would never expect in 1,000 years. One of the stories that I'm about to dive into, like I said, I heard at this Tony Robbins event, and the story is that this woman was on vacation with a group of people and she was trying to figure out where to order a pizza. It was late at night. She couldn't find anybody, and she was probably a little bit intoxicated and was like, I know, I'll call my Zappos rep, my customer service rep. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? That makes literally no sense. This is a shoe company. She called them, explained what was going on. Of course, the person on the other end was a bit confused because they're an online shoe retailer, not a pizza company. But the person's like, you know what, hold on a second. They did some Googling, they called around, and they actually were able to get the pizza delivered to this woman. So I mean, talk about a story that story literally went viral. There's dozens of other ones that are similar to that, and the fact that Zappos goes so far above and beyond on customer service that story is told time and time again, regardless of if someone is shopping for online shoes. Right? That woman will probably be telling that story for the rest of her life to people as it comes up in conversation or something reminds her of that story. So creating these talk triggers can be as obscene as that or as simple as adding more fries to the bag, but there's definitely a way to come up with a talk trigger for your business. Here's an example of one of our talk triggers. When we land a large account, what we do is we mail out this welcome package to them. It's the welcome box concept. It's got some swag, it's got one of our favorite marketing books, it even has a mount for their digital camera so that they can record more videos. Because one of the things we recommend is people record more videos, so we're actually facilitating that right in there. We have a handwritten note that goes in there as well. So you send this to somebody and they feel cared about, and we do care about them, but it's also designed to make them feel cared about because you should care about your clients and care about your customers. So this is an easy way, something simple to assemble that you can do when you land new clients. It's just one example of many, and I do recommend diving into that book called Talk Triggers. So this book, you can get on Amazon, obviously on Audible, or you can buy it if you like the hard copy. And it is a book I think worth reading because it'll give you a lot of ideas and examples of what you can do to create that customer experience and have people talking about you and spreading word of mouth. I know mostly I talk about digital, but listen, this is beyond digital. This can transcend any type of fad marketing that comes out. This is something that's lasts the test of time and will work, I think, for years to come. So an exercise that's easy to do that I highly recommend, either sit down with your team and brainstorm collectively, or you can do it separately and then come together and figure out what strategy would make sense. How can you create these talk triggers in your business so that people are spreading word of mouth about your business in a positive way? I hope this video is helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.